Oh my gosh, y'all. I just found jerky. I feel like I have to eat this in honor of my video today because do you guys remember when Jackson literally loved cheese jerky?
We put them both together, and dude, it really worked. Cheese jerky.
Definitely don't eat the cheese with it, but I'll definitely have this. Howdy y'all, so welcome back to my channel. My Hannah Montana ColourPop order is finally here and we have a lot to talk about. And recently I rewatched the Hannah Montana movie and I still love this movie to this day. But y'all, there's a lot of cool moments, but there's also a lot of plot holes. So without further ado, we're going to talk about the makeup, but we're also going to talk about this movie. Let's get into it. So the movie starts off with Miley literally trying to break into her own concert with a golf cart. So this is definitely in Miley fashion where Miley seems to be running late everywhere and just somehow seems to make it everywhere in the nick of time. And I must admit that when Robbie Ray closes the door and we see that Hannah Montana title card, that gives me chills. I literally am just like, oh, it's just so good. It's just so good, y'all. It's just so good. In this movie, Lily is going to have her Sweet 16 at the Santa Monica Pier, and she's trying to remind Miley, hey, girl, don't be late. Don't be late. Don't be late. And Miley's like, yeah, girl, I got you. I ain't gonna be late. I ain't gonna be late. And of course, something happens to where she can't be on time because she's shopping on Rodeo Drive. And who does she bump into? Tyra Banks. And they both have this match as to who is more popular, who has the upper hand. But in Miley's defense, she is kind of fighting Tyra over a pair of shoes that she knew that Lily would love. However, a big character in this film is actually Oswald, who's a reporter trying to figure out what Hannah Montana's secret actually is. So because he's literally stalking her, she cannot just go into a limo as Hannah and come out as Miley. Definitely not. So what does she decide to do? She shows up at Lily's party as Hannah Montana. And this really ticks Lily off because she's like, how dare you steal my shine on my 16th birthday, you know? But honestly, I'm sorry, girl, but if you had the world's biggest pop star at your super sweet 16, you might very well be the coolest person ever. But of course, Lily has to fight with Hannah or Miley, whoever she is at this point, and tell her that she can never make this up to her. In the process, she actually gives Oswald a hint as to who Hannah Montana's identity really is by telling him that she moved there from Crowley Corners. And ironically enough, Robbie Ray is like, okay, Miley is getting way too into this Hannah persona. We've got to do something. She's so out of touch with reality. She's showing up late to her best friend's birthday party, stealing her shine, all this stuff. So to kind of ground her a little bit, he has her fly to Tennessee instead of New York City. I will say the other change from the TV show that the film has made is that films in general try really, really hard to not make it look fake. Whereas TV shows, we all know that they're fake. Not that we don't know that films are fake, but with TV shows, they try a little less hard. They make a lot of corny jokes. Sometimes they even look at the audience sometimes when they're talking to them. So that's a big difference. And it was kind of like refreshing almost to see Rodeo Drive or to actually see a city in Tennessee as opposed to just a set design that was supposed to be in Tennessee. They're going all the way to Tennessee for her grandmother's birthday, which this shows how out of touch she is that she didn't even know that her grandma's birthday was right then. She, of course, stumbles across Blue Jeans, which is her horse. And mind you, Blue Jeans is literally the only character in this film who we see in the TV show. All of these other characters that we're about to talk about, we never see any of these characters or hear from any of them ever again. Which is kind of a big deal because there's a lot that goes on in this film. But Blue Jean snatches the wig off her head and she's like, that horse, you know. But, you know, when she realizes it's him, she's really, really happy and just enjoys it for a while. Then she runs across her love interest, which is Travis. And Travis is definitely like this down-home country boy, has a little country twang to him, you know, but he's also kind of standoffish, you know. He's like, I know who you are. I know where you moved from. I remember you when we were kids, girl. You ain't who all you think you are. You're gonna, you know, he's definitely given a lot of aggressive energy at this point in time, but Miley likes this aggressive energy. So she kind of rolls with it, right? So eventually they make it back to the grandmama's house and the grandmama is having all these people over, and we meet Lorelai, and yeah, Lorelai. That Robbie Ray meets Lorelai at this point, which is his love interest for the entire film. The other thing I really loved about the Tennessee feeling was that they kind of portrayed everyone as singing and being happy and just being happy that they're together. And definitely, I would say that's kind of a big thing in the South. Not necessarily all of the singing, but the togetherness. So it kind of just made you feel good. And again, with all these cameos, who do we know pops up? Rascal Flatts, y'all. I don't know if we're supposed to know that they're Rascal Flatts in the film, or if they're just supposed to be cousins, or what it is. But Rascal Flatts is literally singing Bless the Broken Road. They've already got a whole band in this town for this to be just such a small town. So basically, at this point in time, Oswald knows that Hannah is from Crowley Corners. So he goes right on to Crowley Corners, and he's trying to get as much dirt on Hannah as he possibly can. And he finds Miley at the farmer's market. Miley's trying to do whatever she can to point him in the wrong direction. And so is the grandmother, because the grandmother's in on this too. And of course, there's all these scenes where, all this comical falling and all this comical, just riff-raff type of stuff. But the big thing that happens at this farmer's market, which I would argue is another villain of the film, is that there's a guy that's trying to build a mall in the middle of Crowley Corners. If anyone knows anything about people who live in naturally beautiful areas or country-like areas, is that they hate for their land to be touched. And so Miley's grandmother is trying to help stop this mall from being built so that she can help save her community. And this all kicks off a fundraiser to where they're trying to raise money in order to stop this mall from being built. And at first, Miley was like, well, what do you mean? I would love to have a mall here. I might come back here more often if there was a mall. But of course, over the course of the film, she realizes, okay, well, maybe this isn't the right attitude to have. But she's working on it. She's working on trying to be more adapted to country life and to just basically not forgetting her roots. So at the fundraiser, again, what do you know? We have another cameo, Taylor Swift. Y'all, I'm telling you, they have a lot of power in this small town. I have never in all my life seen this much power in a small town, but they got it. They got it. And you know what's funny is that I actually forgot that Taylor Swift was in this movie until I rewatched it. But she did a great job. But I have to admit, too, that Billy Ray singing here, too, was really good. Like Back to Tennessee, that was a bop. Why don't we sing that more often? And then, of course, Miley gives us the good old hit, the Hold Down, Throw Down, y'all. And she performs this as herself, but the crowd loves it. They go absolutely wild. And of course, the dude that we hate that's trying to build this mall, he comes up like, well, you're not going to be able to stop me from building the mall. All that kind of stuff. Acting like a villain in the truest form. You know what I mean? Like a good old Southern villain. It was definitely given like Colonel Sanders. At this point, Travis is trying to show that he's like, no, we got all the power in the world. Because guess who knows Hannah Montana? Miley does. And so, of course, Miley feels like she's pinned against the wall, right? That she has to go and like admit that she knows Hannah Montana and can get Hannah Montana to help support this petition, right? Y'all, I don't know why this couldn't have just been a phone call or something, because this is what actually changes everything for real, for real. I don't understand why they didn't just have her donate all of the money that they needed to stop this mall from happening. Because keep in mind, Hannah Montana is the biggest celebrity in the world. This is Michael Jackson. This is the Michael Jackson of her universe. So she has millions of dollars to where she can just donate it and it just be a done thing. But no, they've got to actually see her in person and have her come and talk to the mayor. Lily is just such a great friend that she pretends to be Hannah Montana so that she can make an appearance to kind of just divert some eyes, And so Lily comes in and she's wearing her sunglasses and the wig, and it gives a good enough appearance where people fall for it, blah, 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 blah. So Lorelai sets up this dinner to where she has to talk to not just the mayor, but several people who are prominent figures in the town. But we know that Miley and Travis kind of have a thing going. So Travis finally worked up the courage to ask her on a date, and it just happens to be on the same night. And Miley, being Miley, is like, you know what? I can't just tell him I can go on another day. Nope. She's like, I'm just going to do both. And of course, this turns into this really uncomfortable back and forth motion. There's a lot of famous scenes in this movie. I think this might be a little bit of an underappreciated famous scene. Is when they go around and around of this revolving door. It's like a merry-go-round, y'all. They went around this door probably about 4 or 5 times. Robbie Ray at that point had made Miley stay put as Hannah at that table because it was getting embarrassing. So she gets up and she's trying to run for her last chance to go see Travis, even though he's already on his way home at this point. And to be honest with you, I don't know why he was in this revolving door, because this is taking her a minute to walk up and down the street. So I don't know why he's over there, but he is for some odd reason. And she's taking her wig off and wiping her face and all this kind of stuff. And who do we see in this revolving door? It was a little girl who's been seeing this whole thing happen, right? But she's been as quiet as a mouse. So she sees her take off the wig and she's got her mouth wide open, man, just wide open, just staring. And then we've also got Travis, who's seeing this happen. And y'all, he is infuriated. He just could not believe that the woman he has been talking to for every bit of a week and a half did not tell him that she was Hannah Montana. He thought they were going to get married, y'all. She's only supposed to be in Tennessee for 2 weeks. I feel like his anger in this moment is kind of a little unwarranted. I know that he knew Miley at some point, kind of, but like he was just so mad. And keep in mind, you guys, Disney has this thing to where they always got to encourage you to be yourself and to stop living a lie. They all have this existential crisis at horrible times. It happened in Camp Rock. It happened in Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen. It happened in A Cinderella Story. So as you can see, all of this stuff, it was just a trademark of the early 2000s and mid 2000s that we knew at some point we had to learn a lesson. And that was just the easiest lesson for us to learn. We also find out that Lorelai's upset, surprise, surprise, that Hannah did not give the best impression at this dinner. And Robbie Ray is like, no, Lorelai, I can't be in a relationship. So then we see Miley in the background and she's just like, poor baby, she's just crying so hard. But of course, we can't just leave it like this. This can't be just like roll credits, the end. We've got to keep going, right? So finally we make it to the end of the film. And Miley's like, well, I promised that I would perform as Hannah Montana at this carnival. I've got to do it. So she does it. And in the moment, she's just like, no, I can't be Hannah Montana. I can't do it anymore. She takes off the wig and there's an audible gasp. For her hair to be clipped up the way that it was, wouldn't you see a hump under that wig? That's what was also interesting. Is like she's able to like just take this wig off and all her hair is in the ponytail underneath. But somehow when the wig is on, it just fits perfectly. But anyway. And so in that moment, she gives us a banger from that time that is still with us to this day, The Climb. You guys, I cannot tell you how famous this song has become. I'm sure you know that. Y'all, I'm pretty sure I heard this song at my 8th grade graduation. That's how famous this song is. And she performs beautifully. And at the very end of it, she's like, all right, y'all, peace out. And she's like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. And mind you, at this point, Oswald has decided, he's like, finally, yes, I got something I need. I'm going to take a picture of Hannah Montana turned into Miley Cyrus. This is going to be all over the tabloids, right? And in that moment, the crowd is like, you can be Hannah Montana. And you know who leads this? That sweet little girl who has been silent the entire film until now. She's like, you can still be Hannah, but we'll keep your secret. And it was just so sweet. And Suddenly, everybody else in the audience, her dad, Travis, everybody's trying to cheer on that she can still be Hannah. I don't know at what point this happened, but somewhere around this time, we suddenly see Oswald's daughters again. We saw them one other time, but we see them again. Also, Oswald, he looked like an Oswald in this film. I feel like they really did a great job picking his name. But at this point, Oswald's daughters pop up and they're like, oh my God, Dad, Hannah Montana's so amazing. Oh my God, she's so cool. She's so this, she's so that. This makes his heart condition kind of change because she sees that Rita has flown his daughters in for this concert and he's like, oh my God, I can't possibly give up her secret. So I guess he just has a job on layaway somewhere and he quits his job right there on the spot and deletes the photos. This is like a big difference from what he's been doing literally this entire film, from him to just decide, you know what, it's not worth it. Because mind you guys, he's flown all the way there from California to stalk this woman, which is borderline like illegal on top of that. But all this effort just to decide that it wasn't worth it. Everything's right again. Hannah Montana comes out in her cowgirl costume. Everybody makes up, and then Robbie Ray has a kiss with Lorelai, and everybody's just happy and dancing and doing their whole little thing. And that pretty much ends the film. Now, the thing that I do not understand after this, and I was actually expecting it to be different when I was a kid, was that I thought that maybe in the show it might have a bridge to Lorelai or even Travis in the show. You guys, we never see these people again ever. They're not even mentioned because remember, Hannah Montana, or I guess Miley in this case, was trying to decide between Jake or Jesse in the show. There was no words about Travis. So you guys, we went through all of this traumatizing stuff trying to literally save this town where these people's love interests live, only to never see these people again. Because even with like the idea that the whole city of Crowley Corners is sharing the secret that Miley is Hannah Montana is kind of a crazy concept. Like we don't even hear references like on the show of her revealing that her small town back in Tennessee knew that she was Hannah Montana. Because if you guys remember in the last season, she did reveal that she was Hannah Montana. But again, you never even see the people in Crowley Corners like waving, being like, she finally did it, y'all. She finally did it. That would have been fun if they did, but they didn't. And I don't know why. The other plot hole that I also wanted to bring up was that at the beginning of the film, Jackson stated that he was going to the University of Tennessee for college, but we all know that Jackson joined the cast for the last season of Hannah Montana in California. Well, what I found out was that there's a deleted scene in which he talks to Miley about how he actually is not going to be going to college because he didn't file all the papers that he needed to file. I don't know why they deleted this scene, but I kind of wish that they kept it because this would have made the movie a little bit more consistent. Jackson also really isn't the college going type of person, so it made way more sense anyway for him to not be going to college. But y'all, we got to talk about this makeup, so let's get into it. So I tried to do like a little butterfly pop star type of look because I'm just trying to really test out the palette. So starting off with the eyeshadow palette, I really, really like this palette, you guys. So if I open it, you can kind of see how there's a Miley side and then there's a Hannah side. And I thought for sure I would like one side more than the other. I don't. I think they're all really, really good. But ColourPop is known for their eyeshadows anyway, so it doesn't really surprise me too much. I will say that as per usual, trying to apply the glittery eyeshadows, you come out better just using your finger as opposed to trying to use a brush. If you get nothing else from the collection, get this one because I feel like this could actually be used for a lot of things. Like I'm probably going to use it when I go to the Hilary Duff concert because this is definitely like a fun palette that you can use for events. I also had to top off the eyeshadow look using these gems. This is my first time actually trying gems. I thought it would be kind of cute. It's different. I definitely like it for like a festival. I don't know if the gems will stay on though. And by the way, this was not a part of the collection. I just got it from Amazon because I thought it'd be cute. So I really wanted to like this eyeliner, and I guess I do. But the problem is that the star stamp no longer works anymore. I tried so many times to get the star stamp to work, you guys, but it just looks like this. Like it looks like a half star now. I don't know why the ends of the star have dried out, but that kind of like wraps it up with the stamp if the ends of the star are dry, because I don't want it to look like a dot. I want it to look like a star. So that was kind of a bummer. But I think it has something to do with it being dual ended. Like I feel like things that are dual ended, it's typically going to teeter totter one way or the other. So probably if you're going to use it as a stamp, then you can't use it as a regular liner. I do think that the tip of it is a little bit too thick for my liking. I don't typically like brushes that are this thick because she a little thick. She a little thick. And really for $10, I mean, you could just buy one off of Amazon for $5 and kind of save a little bit, especially if you already know that it's going to be more dominant on one side. So I also played around with the Toy Story gel eyeshadows, and y'all, I love these. I know y'all didn't ask to see this in this, but I love these. These are really, really, really nice, especially the Lotso one. I really like that color, and it kind of went along with the look really, really well, and it shows up really, really nicely. And I kind of sometimes like a more wet look on the eye sometimes, just depending on what I'm doing. I really don't have any complaints about any of them. I'm just sad that I couldn't put more on. I will say though that the one thing that okay, maybe I do have a complaint. I will say that the one thing I didn't like about this is that they are very, very, very messy, but they're gel. But it's like a gel that is more watery based. So because of that, it just goes everywhere. So when you get ready to put these on, you just have to know where they're going. But ColourPop has had several gel eyeshadows that I thought were really, really pretty. They also had like a Frosty the Snowman one, which I didn't get it, but it was so beautiful in the pot. So if I ever have another opportunity, I probably will go for it. So moving on to the lips, I have to show you guys what I didn't actually end up liking, which is Rock Sensation. I don't know what it is, but it just didn't look how it did online. Online, I thought this would be more of a nude, and I guess it is, but for me, these both just look really, really orange. This lip pencil, Rock Out the Show, I probably will never use this again because this is way too orangey for my liking. Smooth Talking, the lippy stick, maybe, but probably not. I mean, it's a little bit more neutral looking and it doesn't show up as much. But to me, I just felt like I looked ashy with it on. So I probably honestly won't use this ever again either, which I'm really disappointed, but it just didn't work. It wasn't quite my color and it wasn't as moisturizing. There was another combination that was online, but I didn't end up picking that one. I really like the Hannah Montana lip gloss keychain. Like, come on, y'all. Like, that is so cute. Lip gloss is clear, but it's just really fun to have and it's nostalgic. That's all the makeup I have that I want to share with you guys today, and this was really, really fun, and it gave me some really cool ideas for the Hilary Duff concert. Guys, let me know down below in the comments if you actually like the Hannah Montana movie, if it has a special place in your heart too. But as always, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys next time.